Adams. Welcome to the Women's Army Corps.
Today on Arts 24, Tyler Perry. He's a producer, actor, director, playwright, and entertainment mogul. His career spans decades, with a singular focus on African-American stories and casts.
Battalion! Eyes right!
His latest film, The 6888, on Netflix, stars Kerry Washington and Oprah Winfrey. It's based on the true story of the 6888, an all-women of color battalion from World War II. The unit were given an impossible task, sorting through a backlog of 17 million pieces of mail in 6 months to boost morale among U.S. soldiers.
The soldiers who are fighting this war have not heard from their loved ones.
Tyler Perry, bonjour. Thank you for your time today.
Yeah, absolutely.
You've got 10 series renewed for new seasons on BET, on Black Entertainment Television. You also have deals producing content with Netflix and Prime Video. How do you do it all?
How do I do it? I have a really, really great team. And over the years that I've really cultivated some people who really know how to help me hold it all together.
Now, let's talk about the 6888. You're known for your fictional works. How challenging was it for you to depict a historical story on screen?
The challenge was to be sure that I got it right. And leaning into these women's stories and what they had done it really helped me to be able to line the story up, because there was so much historical footage and references. It made it a lot easier than coming up with just a fictional story. This one, I had guidelines, I had rules, I had stories, I had actual anecdotes and things that happened that really helped me.
So it was easier in a way.
Yes, for sure. Easier in a way to tell the story, but harder because I had to make sure that I wasn't taking too many liberties to walk away from the truth.
Kerry Washington stars and she executive produces this series, this film as well. Your partnership with her was quite serendipitous, I guess we could say. Could you tell us the story of how you got her on board?
Well, the first thing I did was, when I'm writing, I see different characters. So as I was writing Charity Adams, I kept seeing Kerry, and I was like, I hope she'll do it. So I sent her the scissor reel, and she watched it, and she goes, whoa, this is really something, because I was just posing as a character on Instagram of one of these women. And I just found out this story. And she goes, well, how do we write a story about the male? How do we do a movie about the male? And then we're both leaning into and understanding how the male was so pivotal during the 1940s. There was no Instagram or Facebook or Twitter. It was the male. Once we wrapped our brain around how to make that a part of the story, this essential part that was so much a part of the story, to make it a character in the story, it all came together. So when she said yes, I was really excited.
And this is really the first time, I guess you could say, this story has been brought to the screen, hasn't it? Why do you think it's taken so long to get this story on in popular culture? I got
to say, I was embarrassed because I didn't know it. I don't think a lot of people are even aware that there were 855 Black women in World War II in Europe. When I saw it, I thought, you're kidding me. How do we not know this story? So to have an opportunity for me to tell this story and honor these women has really been a life-altering kind of dream for me.
And do you think this story is all the more important now, given the current U.S. political context, as we have a new president who's going to take office soon?
I think that it's important, yes, not only in what's happening in America, but just in the lives of people who have been marginalized or misunderstood or downplayed, and their abilities and their intelligence. I think it speaks to everyone.
I know you want to get out of this life.
His breakout hit of 2024 was Beauty in Black, an over-the-top soapy drama about a stripper and the heir of a cosmetics empire whose lives collide in nefarious ways. You've made so many series over the past years or decades. Why do you think this one had a particularly wild success with fans?
This is just a wild ride, just some crazy fun, just ridiculous, over-the-top, silly drama of just me letting my mind go wild. And I think that people are into that kind of madness at times.
Can you tell us anything about part two?
I think that in part two, when Kimmy comes into power in a very interesting way, and the dynamic shifts in the show, and it's going to really shock some people.
Were you worried about the raciness of the show? I mean, you often espouse Christian values in your work. Were you worried that you might alienate certain members of your viewership?
No, no, not at all. The raciness is what it is. In order for me to tell this story, this is the way the characters came through. But also, what is important to me is that people understand that I am a studio owner, and I'm going to tell all kinds of stories. I have stories about horrible cult where people are doing awful things. I have stories about family and my most successful show to date, the most episodes, is House of Pain, which is a family-oriented sitcom. So I'm all over the place. And what I know about my audience is that we're not a monolith. We're all very different, and there are certain things that we'll gravitate to and certain things that we won't. But I'm okay with telling all kinds of stories.
How hard was it for you to break into the industry? You've spoken about this in the past. There was one particularly difficult moment in your life right after the play, I Know I've Been Changed. How hard was it for you starting out?
Starting out to get my first show off the ground was really, really difficult. It ended up being homeless out on the street, living in my car. But once that show caught on, I was able to set a financial base and foundation for myself. So as I tried to go into Hollywood, I didn't need that machine to make it work for me. I had built this audience. So getting into Hollywood was a challenge. It's still challenging. However, my audience has been rock solid and right beside me. So they've made me have a lot of strides because of the successes.
And you've also spoken about your traumatic childhood, enduring physical and sexual abuse. How do you think you overcame that trauma? What would you credit with helping you overcome that trauma?
For me, it's been tremendous faith, walking through it. And also writing was such a catharsis for me because every character has a motivation. And as I was understanding characters' motivations and why they would do certain things or why they would feel certain ways, and I'm looking for why they are the way they are, I started applying a lot of that to my own life. And it helped me to heal from a lot of things.
So in a way, your work was also helped you
cathartic,
heal.
yeah, very much.
We talked about your wild success of shows like Mea Culpa, Beauty in Black. Some critics also say you perpetuate stereotypes of African-American people, that maybe your storylines sometimes are over the top. How would you respond to that?
I don't.
So what's your measure of success?
Understanding that my audience, I know them very, very well, so understanding them and seeing that they love it, that's where my focus is.
Artificial intelligence also has been a big concern in the industry, and you've used AI in some of your productions, but you also did suspend a planned $800 million expansion of your studios over concerns about AI. Could you maybe expand on what those concerns were?
Well, it's coming to pass. It's very much, the technology is moving so quickly and advancing so much that what I was doing and building was going to be obsolete. There won't be needs for this kind of sets and building these kind of worlds anymore because you'll be able to sit on a computer and do it in 30 seconds in a room like this. So it's an exciting time, but it's also a very challenging and scary time. So I'm watching it very closely. Do
you think there needs to be more, perhaps, regulations around?
I absolutely do. I think that we are naive and behind the curve, and AI technology is so far ahead of us. By the time we try to get our arms around it, it may be too late.
You live in a mansion on the other side of town. What the hell are you doing in the ghetto?
Dear, please.
Come on in here.
She ain't moving in here.
That's your family.
One of your long-lasting legacies is portraying Medea, the street-smart, savvy grandma. She first came to our screens in Diary of a Mad Black Woman. That was 20 years ago, in 2005. We'll see her again in 2025 in Medea's Destination Wedding. For you, what has been the challenge in adapting her to a new generation of viewers?
I'm just still shocked and surprised that people are still liking that big old ugly broad because she's really about, for me, the best part of Medea is that the wisdoms and the moments of help and understanding and getting people to lean into healing, that's the best part of it for me. So to see that she's still around all these years, I'm like, okay, we'll keep going.
You'll also be playing her brother, Joe, accompanying his grandson on a college road trip in the upcoming film, Joe's College Road Trip. What was it like embodying her brother as well?
You talk about racy. If Beauty in Black makes you shy, you are not ready for Joe's College Road Trip. It is over the top. Yeah.
Do you enjoy the over the top? Do you enjoy sort of exploring that side of creativity?
Joe is, he's a mix between my uncle and the man that raised me. So this man is so irreverent. He is so out of control, but hilarious. So yeah, I enjoyed the freedom of playing him.
My last question is, you've come such a long way and you've overcome a lot of adversity in your life. What would you say, to your 10-year-old self if you could go back in time and tell that little boy a message?
You're going to be okay. Everything's going to work out. I would actually thank him for enduring all that he did so that I could be here. So more than tell him anything, I would say thank you.
Tyler Perry, thank you so much for your time.
It's my pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We are no strangers to making a shack a home. We are at war, and when you are at war, you make do. Unlike some other folks here, we have the most to prove. Now is where you show the proof. This is our mission. And we will not fail.